Who wants to hear a shitty story? No one, but we're gonna tell it anyway because we read the whole thing, yeah. Welcome to the book club from hell.
Welcome back to the book club.
The book club.
The book club. The only one. This is all you can read. This is actually the only book. Welcome back to the only book, Killing Stalking. Did you die?
A little bit. I inhaled a little too hard when I was drinking.
Oh, I'm sorry for my loss.
What? What are you, fucking Song-woo?
Yes! I relate completely to this character.
If a dude ever said that, that's not even on the same level as, like, relating to the Joker or whatever. It's worse.
No, it is worse. It's, like, definitely worse. At least the Joker, like, sometimes pretends to have a point to anything he does. Song-woo's like, fuck you. That's all he does.
But yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Week 2.
For week 2, we're doing chapters 11 through 19, right?
Right. There's a lot going on in these chapters. Where do we leave off? We left off Song-woo just used Boom to kill someone.
Don't call the poor man bum. Hasn't he suffered enough?
They say bum later. They say something about Boom's bum, and it made me laugh.
Best translation they did in the whole thing.
But so we're back. Song-woo just used Boom to kill a man. He threw him on top of another man, and the knife went into the other man's body, basically.
And then he was like, you killed that man.
You did it. You killed him.
And he was very proud about it, though.
Yeah.
He was like, congratulations, you killed that man. The cops are not so hot on his tail.
I don't even think they're trying at this point.
No, not even a little bit. You would think in a suburb where this is the only thing you have to deal with, you'd be more concerned about the serial killer in the area. But they're just doing traffic stops and shit.
Which is where we start off.
That's where we pick back up.
Yeah, back with the police, who we haven't seen since chapter 2.
Yes.
And it's the rookie cop. Well, he's not really a rookie, but I'm going to keep calling him the rookie cop because
he's a rookie to this department. He's from Seoul. He's a big city cop, and he's moved to the burbs because he fucked up.
He's moved to the burbs, but this still looks like a city.
Yeah.
So where the fuck are they?
I think this may be like just outer
Seoul?
Yeah, though they keep making fun of him for being from Seoul, so I don't know if this is even Seoul. It just seems like the outer part of a city.
I'm gonna say it's where you stayed and it's in Noan.
Dude, it would be so cool if it was in Noan. This would be populated entirely by elderly people. There'd be nobody else there.
I liked that area though, like for the 2 seconds I was there.
No, it was fun. I liked it there too. There was a lot of like cute little shops and stuff.
I only say this is set in Noan because they go sing karaoke, and that's where we sang karaoke.
Oh yeah,
there's like 1,000 karaoke places.
It was all karaoke.
Yeah,
old people in karaoke.
But yeah, so we're at this police station.
Yes, we've returned to Young Sung-bae, who's our rookie cop, quote unquote rookie cop.
Yeah, he's the rookie cop.
Glasses guy.
He reminds me of someone, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I bet it's just because he looks like every J. Michael Tatum character, but that's okay.
In the anime adaptation, we know who would voice him. So Sung-bae, like even other cops hate this cop. Like he's like mega cop. No one can stand him. He's gone so cop that other cops are like, you suck at being a cop.
But they're arresting this drunk guy, right? And this drunk guy is yelling that he's like a congressman, and then he's also yelling that he's also a cop.
I remember that. Yeah, no, I would do the same thing if I was drunk. I'd be like, unhand me. I'm the president. I'm a cop. I'm the queen. Leave me alone.
So most of this chapter is like Sung-bae having like an internal monologue.
Yes, we get his backstory about how he was overzealous trying to solve this case and arrested an innocent guy, and everybody hated him.
Which is like, whatever.
Yeah, so
I know he'll be important, but like I don't really care.
I don't really give a shit. He gets transferred.
Yeah.
He gives a story about how he's really passionate about the police because when he was a kid, I guess one of his dad, his grandpa, someone got murdered, and the police were really bad, and that inspired him to be a policeman, which I don't really. The cops are awful, so I'm gonna be a cop.
What I wrote here was he hates the police, so he became the police. And still does a shit job.
Yeah, I don't.
He's not arresting the right people. Like
he's really bad. He's a bad cop. He was inspired by some bad cops to become a bad cop.
This is like the shittiest Batman I've ever seen. Like he's like, I'm gonna reform the crime justice system, and then he's just
from
really
the
bad.
inside. I'll be the good cop that I needed. I did make a note that says, thinking about your backstory so hard you almost crash your car. Because he does, like, pull the squad car really fast into an alleyway because he's too busy and almost crashes into Song-woo and ends the story.
Yeah. No, he would have crashed into the old man.
It's true. Song-woo is always the problem. Like, he's literally just standing on street corners now causing problems.
So he accosts, or he doesn't accost, he stumbles upon this scene.
Yes, Song-woo has gotten into a minor fender bender with an elderly man and is now bullying the elderly man about it.
Yeah, he's being real weird about it. He's like, being like, we'll just exchange our information. It's fine. We'll take care of it ourselves. But then the elderly man, like, tries to punch him, and the police officer is like, well, now you tried to assault someone, now I gotta arrest you. And Song-woo's like, don't do that.
Song-woo is worried here because he's gotten into this fender bender and he doesn't want the police to take his dash cam because his dash cam caught him beating up Boom in the street the other day.
But how did he know?
Well, that's the other thing. First of all, if you knew there was a dash cam, why did you beat him up in the street?
Yeah.
And second of all, if you have a dash cam in your own car and you're constantly committing murders, you'd think you would tamper with it or cover it or something.
Face it the other way.
Like, you would do something about the Like, how is this never
Park
taught
your
you?
car facing the other direction.
Like, what? Huh?
Oh, also, we should say that this whole chapter, it's supposed to be, like, you don't know that it's Song-woo, but, like, you're, like, 99% sure it's Song-woo. You're like, he's weird.
Like, of course you do. Look at him.
He's like talking like Hannibal Lecter.
No, he makes no sense, so whatever. Anyway, that's chapter 11.
Yeah. Him in this chapter reminded me of someone, but I can't remember what it was. Like, just his, like, get-up of, like, the hat and the glasses with, like, real discernible face.
Why is he wearing glasses to drive around? Like, why is he in disguise? He's just, like, driving around near his house.
No clue.
I don't understand. Like, what was he doing? What was his plan?
Chapter 12, the police gets him to hand over the footage after some more mind games where he, like, presses his finger into the car really hard to, like, make sure the policeman doesn't go into the car.
Presses his finger against the car really hard.
That's what happens.
I know it is. It's just really stupid. And then he gives him his dash cam footage or whatever. Laughs and drives away like a fucking maniac. Sung-bae finally stands up to his mean boss, which doesn't do anything because no one actually gives a shit.
No.
It's completely irrelevant.
He, in a crazy turn of events, starts stalking Song-woo.
He watches all of his dash cam footage.
Why did he watch all the dash cam footage, though? Like, I know he's the most police to ever police, but, like...
He's suspicious that he just thinks Song-woo is weird. And he must have something weird on his dash cam. And he's correct.
He's right.
But it's a crazy thing to think.
On his ID, I just got to this, like, because, you know, he took the footage and then he took the ID. It says Ganggu Hwadong.
Oh.
Which I don't know if that's... Because it says 5th Road. So that's got to be, like, the street name. So the other one must be, like, the, like, area he lives in. Hold on. Ganggu.
I'm also Googling it. I think Gon is something cut off, though.
It's probably something cut off.
Okay. It's neighborhood of Jongnyeogu in Seoul.
Okay, so it is in Seoul.
So it is, like, the edge of Seoul. No, this says it's in central Seoul.
What?
So we're still in Seoul. Why are they making fun of him for being from Seoul if they're also in Seoul?
And so then the real stalking begins.
He starts
on Song-woo. Yeah, he tails him, like, outside of work hours for him.
He has no legitimate reason to be doing a stakeout here because he has turned over none of this evidence and none of these suspicions to his bosses. So he just shows up at this place.
His defense is the vibes were whack.
The vibes were so whack that he just shows up outside of this house. And, like, it's, like, peeking in the windows and in the mail slot and shit.
And there's an incredible panel where you see him peeking through the mail slot from the inside of the house, and it just says, "Afoot."
I do love that panel.
I was like, us.
Afoot? I will say that POV shot when he's looking inside and all he can see is, like, Boom's, like, broken leg dragging on the ground.
Yeah.
That's genuinely creepy. That would really freak me out to look into a house and see that, because, like, what the fuck? I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
Ew. I'd shit my pants if, with no context, I could just see, like, a leg crawling around on the floor of this sketchy-ass house. The other thing that's really strange about this man, Sungbei is just also a really weird dude. These are, like, the 3 strangest guys that have ever lived.
Yeah.
He starts banging on the door, because he sees someone inside, so he bangs on the door, and he's like, this is the police, open the door. Also illegal, you don't have a search warrant. Nope. So he bangs on the door and announces it's the police, but he doesn't stand up to do that. He's like on all fours banging on the door, which is really just, why? Why wouldn't you just get up? Like, it's just a weird thing to do.
Because he's on Boom's level, even if he doesn't know it. He's on his level.
And then Song-woo walks up and there's this guy, like, yelling on all fours in front of his door.
My last note on chapter 12 is all caps, kill him, Song-woo, because I was just done with this guy.
I'm just finished with this cop. Fuck,
like, it's time for him to go.
I think chapter 13, genuinely really great.
It's good. It's not one that I would stick in that short film, but it is just tense enough that it's good.
Yeah, I think it's a great time. I think it balances really well between being, like, fun slasher comedy, like, weirdness, and being like genuinely tense. Chapter 13 is peak Killing Stalking. Like, everything that makes this funny and that makes it, like, genuinely kind of good is happening here.
Yeah.
So Song-woo comes home, and this cop is like, I'm in plain clothes right now, but I'm a cop. And Song-woo's like, okay, but, like, why are you kneeling on my porch? Like, why are you here? And he's like, there's reports of a weird sound, and I have to search your house, which...
Song-woo looks down the empty street and is like, okay.
He's like, okay, bro. Here's the thing. Maybe I'm a different breed. No chance I would let a cop into my house without a warrant, and I'm not even a serial killer. Like,
yeah, no.
No chance. It would not be happening.
But
sorry,
he's a
buddy.
serial killer who will kill basically anyone. So...
That's true.
You know, he has options.
He has options. There's more than one option here.
Before they go in the house, there's a few things that happen, but one of them, and this is mostly on, like, the artist, why do they keep emphasizing the, like, cigarette pot?
I don't know. It's actually really strange.
Understand. Like, because in a few of them, the officer keeps looking at it, but, like, other times it just cuts to it. And it's not like it's just kind of in the frame. Like, it's specifically showing, like, the cigarettes inside the pot, you know? Like, it is almost the focal point. Is it supposed
to be, like, a metaphor of some kind? Like, he's got a flower pot, but he just uses it to stub his cigarettes?
Maybe? I don't know.
I don't get it. I haven't thought hard enough about the cigarette pot to get what they're going for there, but...
But, also, so a few other things. Boom is upstairs. I was like, oh my god, upstairs privileges are restored. He's back upstairs because he was in the basement last time we saw him.
Yeah.
I guess he was good enough killing that man that he's allowed upstairs and back in his little crop top and skirt. He's allowed to be pretty.
Congratulations, Boom. You don't have to be naked in the basement anymore. There's some really creepy panels here when the cop walks in and Song-woo's behind him looking like a fucking creep, too.
Yeah.
I would have arrested him just for that.
Arrested for being creepy.
Arrested for this creepy serial killer face that he just made.
Well, then Song-woo goes in front of him and the cop is making some weird fucking faces, too.
I have a note about this panel that says, I don't know what you're playing at, but, that says, what's going on with Song-woo's foot?
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
It looks weird.
I don't know what that vegetable is that was being cut on the cutting board at all. And why you would cut it like that.
That's an excellent question, actually.
But there's a knife there. There's a knife because Boom was presumably cutting something.
He was presumably in the middle of cooking. Though,
yeah.
Why was he in the bedroom then? He left this cooking to go into the bedroom for something.
Yeah.
So he really did just stop halfway for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's not as
Sungbei's like, this is weird. No one would stop halfway through cooking.
It's like,
and
well,
then,
Boom did.
He legit just did for no reason.
Before you even got there.
Also, I wrote down, Song-woo does leave out this tiny shitty table.
He does. All the time.
and the cop doesn't even ask about it.
No, he looks at it, he's like, huh. Turns away.
He's like, damn, okay.
But yeah, so he stops cooking halfway. There's like a knife and some, I don't know, leaks.
They might be leaks. There's also, there's a really weird line in here. Sungbei's in the kitchen talking to Song-woo. And Song-woo's like, you're a pretty sketchy cop. And he changes the subject. And then he's like, this house is pretty big. Don't you have any family? And I was like, this cop has a good enough memory to remember the address of the house that he saw a sweaty guy trying to get into like a week ago. Yeah. Maybe longer than that. remember who Song-woo was that he met once through a car window, extremely briefly, but not the conversation he had afterward about how Song-woo's parents both got murdered years ago and left in the house. Like, you don't remember that part. Just objectively the most memorable part.
If he had seen the desk thing, the tiny little table, and had been like, "Oh, do you have a kid?" That would make more sense, you know?
Yeah.
But he's just like,
no,
"Do you
he's
have
like,
family?"
This house is really big. Do you have any family? Like, no, it's his dead parents' house. You actually already know this one.
He might be trying to provoke him, but that's not what you want to do right now. That Song-woo is sitting on top of the knife.
And then Song-woo just pushes him for fun. He's like, go check in my wardrobe now. Like,
yeah, he's like, "You looked everywhere but the wardrobe. You should do a thorough job, Mr. Police Officer.
Please go look." And they definitely bait and switch you to think Boom isn't. Sung-woo seems to think Boom is in the wardrobe. So I think what he expects to happen is he'll open it and then he'll stab the cop when he sees Boom. Yeah. But then he opens the wardrobe and Boom is not in there. Yeah. So the cop just leaves and then Sung-woo loses his shit. Yeah. He's like, I lost him. I fucking lost him. Like, I kidnapped a man and then lost him. I don't know where he fucking went.
And I don't know where he went either.
Like, Me neither. I was like, wait, actually, where is he, though? And they never tell us where the fuck he was hiding. Sung-woo's, like, running around in the street, like, what the fuck, what the fuck? Whoa, what the fuck? He gets so angry at one point that he pops a boner.
He does. He thinks about choking him out, but then he's actually choking out his mom, and then he, like, looks down, and he's like, oh, I got a boner.
Like, my man's on the edge.
Also, it flashes back to a few moments that he has with Boom, and he's like, I'm going to kill him because, like, how could he betray me? But it flashes back to that panel where he's giving him a BJ, and it, like, I know it's a BJ, but it looks like he's sucking on his foot.
I was literally about to bring up that panel. I was like, does it not look like he was sucking on his toes? Because I saw that, and I was, like, trying to remember when this toe suck happened.
Me too.
He gets super upset. He pops a murder boner outside. He gets super angry. He's like, I have to find him and kill him. My life is ruined and I hate him. And then he walks inside and Boom's just, like, sitting there.
Yeah,
inexplicably.
And no one knows where he was.
Having popped out of somewhere.
He must have been in, like, the cabinets or something, right? Like
something like that. And Song-woo's like, I'm a freak it. Like,
or inside the oven. Like, that was my other, like, maybe he, like, no, he couldn't fit
inside the oven would be kind of
No,
clever.
he was in the cabinet. The cabinet door's open.
Oh, thank God we've solved this mystery. I've read this twice now, and I've never figured out where the fuck he was.
We were too distracted by Song-woo just being, like, incredibly funny.
Yeah. No, he's losing it, man. He's, like, in full hysteria over this. And then as soon as he sees him again, he's like, we're gonna be together forever. You didn't run away when you kind of could have.
There's this incredible panel where it's a shot straight on Song-woo, but from Boom from behind. And, like, his cheeks are huge.
He has cake sometimes.
He does, even though he's so skinny.
Sometimes he got cake, though. I see it, Song-woo. I know what you're about.
That whole last chunk of the chapter was, like, Song-woo just being like, oh my god, the person I kidnapped that can't actually run away was here the whole time, and now I can't kill him and get off.
Yeah, no. He just blue-balled himself.
Yeah. I know, presumably he still has a boner when he comes back into his house.
14, once again, some weird shit starts up here, okay? So, like, Boom's landlord, he's really behind on his rent, and apparently this landlord forgave a bunch of his missing rent because he just felt so bad for him. Yeah. Which is insane. Like, his rent was frozen for a while because he's just such a pathetic motherfucker. Like, so pitiful that nothing could happen to him.
Yeah, because his rent was, like, only $180 a month.
It was $180 a month, which is almost nothing, and he's like months behind.
Yeah, like, but it is a shithole that he's in. But like,
it's a complete shithole.
But like, still, like, just speaking numbers wise, like,
it's really not that much money. He's months and months behind because he doesn't work.
Yeah, he's just a student.
But whatever, Boom. Good for you. Get that education, I guess.
Song-woo shows up and freaks out the landlord because he's already standing there. He's
like, I'm just here staring at the door, like, blankly.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, why are you doing this? Like, why are you getting his stuff?
I think he's trying to make it so that he's not reported as a missing person, like, by paying off his rent.
Probably.
Because this is presumably the only person that would notice that he's gone.
Yeah. The thing is, when they're when he's there, Song-woo, to clean out the apartment, he finds his ID and he like looks at it and he looks at the age and he's like, I'm dating a dinosaur. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's like, God, he's so old.
But also next to the ID is like a phone and keys.
Yeah.
It's like, boom, did you leave all that shit there?
You left without your phone or keys.
Or ID.
Here's the other thing. He left without his phone, keys, or ID to break into this guy's house.
Yeah.
Okay. The other things on his fucking counter, he's got a pair of pliers. Like, what were you doing with that? He's got like a bottle of glue.
He's got like, some nail polish.
We get the backstory for the nail polish later, but I do not understand the pliers and glue. I don't know what craft he was in the middle of. Because like clearly he's not doing any work on the apartment.
No.
So like, I was really confused by this assortment of supplies.
Then Song-woo goes into his bathroom.
Yeah.
And he finds this little like bowl on the ground that's full of water and it's got a realistic dildo in there.
It does have like, and they won't draw dicks, but they do draw this fully realistic dildo.
Yeah, later they draw it in full. Like this first little 2 panels, it's censored.
Yeah.
But...
And then he's like, gross, he has a dildo. Like you didn't know that this was a gay guy.
Yeah, well he has a dildo and then he also has this like wishbone thing. That, like, I'm like, okay, I don't have a dick, I don't have balls, I don't have a prostate, but that looks like a double penetration thing for, like, a vag.
That's what I was thinking, too. I was trying to figure out what he was doing with that.
Yeah, because the long end could go to your prostate, but, like, the short end is...
Like, what is it for?
I'm like, usually that's a clit thing, but, like, I don't know if you could do something to, like, your balls with it, or, like...
Maybe. I mean, you can kind of... Okay, this is my hoe talking. So like behind your balls, like on your taint,
yeah,
you can stimulate the prostate through there, like from the outside. So you could like theoretically double side your prostate with that thing if you were like really trying to go crazy. But I've never heard of anyone doing that.
It's got like a little suction cup on the bottom, so it's like implied that you would like sit on that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused by I'm with Song-woo here. Like Song-woo's like, damn, that's freaky. Like, yeah, no, it is. That is weird. I don't know what he did with that.
Because, like, it's the same concept on, like, a vag. Like, the part below your clit, but above the actual vag, you can stimulate that and kind of get, like, the main part of your clit from the underside or from the outside. Yeah. So...
Yeah, it's the same concept. I think maybe that may have been what the attempt was.
But that's not what I would use to do that.
No, me neither. And I also,
don't understand.
I wish I could Google it. I don't know what that thing's called. I wish I could Google, like, what does a guy do with that?
It just looks like a wishbone.
It does. It literally looks like a wishbone. Okay, if there's somebody out there that knows what that is,
yeah,
please let us know.
We should post a picture of it on Tumblr. Like, what is this?
What the fuck is this thing? Please tell me what this is for. I have to know. This is gonna drive me insane. I really thought the research would pull through.
No, it just created more questions.
I really gotta know. I gotta know. What?
Anyway.
Where were we? We're cleaning out Boom's apartment. It's disgusting, by the way. There's kind of a cute joke in here where he brings gloves to clean up the apartment because it's disgusting, but like the gloves he has are like red-handed.
Yeah. What
the fuck? It's quite funny. He's got like blood-covered gloves.
But we go back to the actual apartment or house, I guess, not apartment. We go to Song-woo's house and Boom is like chained up to... He's in the bedroom, but the chain goes all the way down into the basement to a pole down there. He has
gotten a super long chain now.
Yeah.
That he keeps Boom on.
I'm like, what are the rules? He wasn't chained up before.
No, I don't know why he lost free roaming privileges after not running away. Sung-woo was like, I think I'm in love with you. Take this really long chain.
And then he shows him the dildo. He's like, I've got a present for you. Here's a dildo.
Well, first he goes, I've got a present for you. And then he holds out the bag and Boom is like, garbage? Is it garbage?
He's like, you're kind of right.
Did you bring me fucking garbage?
No, it's a dildo.
He's hiding in a corner when Sung-woo walks in. It's pathetic. It's quite sad.
And it's uncensored this time, so you can see all the like weird veins on it that aren't how you would put veins on a dildo, but there's veins on the balls.
Yeah, it's a gross veiny dildo. It's also like wet still.
And then he goes back out of the room and he's like, dun 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 dun.
He's so proud of himself for this one.
What could it be?
Bingo! It's crushes. And then he's like, "You're going out with me," which is insane. What an insane stunt to pull. The guy you've kidnapped. Like, you want to start taking him for walks.
There's a sequence where he's trying to teach Boom how to use the crutches, and I'm like, Songwoo, you can't use crutches if both your feet are busted.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
that's not how it works. He has 2 broken legs. And then he gets impatient with him for not wanting to stand up. He can't stand on them either. Both of his legs are broken.
And then Songwoo dresses him up like Tiny Tim. And they go out.
They have like matching coats.
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly just
so
another
tiny.
Oh my god, he just watches him stumble down the stairs on his 2 broken legs. It's fucking brutal, dude.
Like, if I saw those 2 out, I would not assume they were friends. I would assume it was like a guy and his like young nephew.
Yeah, honestly.
They get in the car.
He fucking scolds him in the car for not putting his seatbelt on, which again is insane. And then he like nuzzles on him when he does his seatbelt, which is, even Boom is like, this is creepy and weird.
Yeah, and okay, I'm gonna admit something here, because I've been reading like a shit ton of fan fiction. I read an ABO fic out of curiosity.
Wow, your very first, huh?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. I've read a couple now because like I'm like, this is really fascinating to read about this. But that aside for a second. He like nuzzles on him and like, ooh, he's scenting him. And then I went, no, he's not.
Wait, no.
But like, it's true.
Fucked up and true, man. But that is insane.
But yeah, I've read a few because it has to, there's some certain parameters like in the tags.
Sometimes they're fun.
But sometimes they're fun. I definitely, okay, I'm going to go on a tangent for a second, but I definitely, the first one that I read is like, okay, I can see the appeal in this one. Like, because there were some moments where it was like more just sub-dom dynamics going on, like with a little bit of that weird like animal shit thrown in, but like, it was mostly just kind of like a world where a dom gets paired with a sub. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Sure.
Fair enough.
But then the second one I read, absolutely horrible. Terrible. Scarring. Would not read again.
Here's the thing. I grew up in the ancient days of fanfiction.net. Right?
Yeah, I grew up on those too, but I did not.
Yeah. You know, so when I was 11, the big thing that everyone was doing was the sex pollen thing, right?
Right.
It's like,
oh,
you know,
God.
you get hit with sex pollen and you have to have sex or you'll die.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, the actual, like, fuck or die. Like,
yeah.
Now it's just a thing, but, like, that was the reason. Like,
yeah, the sex pollen thing. And so I think it's the successor to that. I think it's the successor to fuck or die. Like,
yeah,
you know,
just
like
a little toned down.
Yeah, except you don't actually die. You just get sad.
Anyway, Songwoo sends Boom
on the way to the store.
On the way to the store.
Boom is the funniest internal monologue too, because he fucking turns the corner and Boom is like, the store.
He's like, where are we going? This is the main street. Store.
The store. And his face is like horrified. Not the store.
They back into a parking spot. Songwoo's like, get out. Boom tries to get out. He parked way too close to the wall. Like,
I know. Like, once again, just bullying him like nothing. Like, what? Boom's life is so miserable. And for what? For what?
He holds up a sweater in front of Boom and is like, oh, do you like it? And Boom's like, I guess. And he's like, you didn't even look in the mirror. Besides, it's not even like your color. It's gonna look better on me. Fuck you. Like,
Songwoo is really funny in this set of chapters. Like, he's at his peak here.
He's trying to do like domestic AU, but it's not working.
He's trying to do domestic AU, but he's still a serial killer, so it's just not functioning at all.
They go into the world's tiniest dressing room.
They go into the world's tiniest dressing room so that he can change and then leave Boom there.
And I made a note. I was like, you know, Songwoo is kind of right. He does look good in that sweater.
No, he doesn't look good in that sweater. I'm once again confused why we're in disguise. Like, why does he have glasses on again?
I don't know.
He just decided he liked it after he stole those glasses from that one guy.
Right. He didn't even wear glasses before.
Yeah. And then he walks outside. Boom, leaves the changing room because Songwoo just left him in there to change.
Yeah, Songwoo was like, change and then come out and find me. He's like, okay, I'll
But then Songwoo, like, once again, it's like, I'm gonna pull a little trick. And so, like, Boom leaves the dressing room. He trips and falls into a rack of clothes and thinks he sees Sangwoo hiding in the rack of clothes, and I screamed. Like, I was like, that's the scariest shit I've ever seen. The other line I wrote down from this bit, when they're walking into the store on the escalator, Sangwoo's like, hey, don't make me angry, because you've been cutting it real close. And I was like, doing what? He hasn't said anything in like 5 chapters. This poor man just exists near you, and you're like, fuck off! And then you're like, I love him so much. Oh, for fuck's sake. Functional relationship. Excellent work.
So yeah, chapter 15. It's mostly about this girl at first.
Yeah, so this is Jian. And she goes to school with Sangwoo, and she has a big fat crush on him, and that's her whole story.
I wrote a note, I forget why, but I just said, like, girl, you nasty. But I forget what it was about.
Girl, you nasty. I'd also like to know what it was about. Oh no, I think it's this bit where she's drinking, or he brings her a coffee, and she says she wants the one he was drinking, and then her internal monologue says, I just want to know what you taste like.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Everyone in this manga is a fucking creep.
He's like, I need you to look fucking normal, bum, for like one night. I need you to look like a normal person. I'm like, well, whose fucking fault is that?
Yeah, like, he's all emaciated and beaten up because he lives in a basement, so...
Oh, God. He puts him in a car again. He's like, don't look around at things. Don't look at the festival. You can't have a good time. You're not allowed.
Yeah, no, it's really strange. At one point, he looks outside the window after Sangwoo told him to stop looking around, so Sangwoo slams really hard on the brake and makes him, like, bonk his head, which is just, once again, ridiculously mean for no reason.
And then he's like, Boom, do you love me?
He's like, Boom, are you in love with me? I did just slam your face into the windshield again, but are you in love with me, like, still? Like, do you still love me?
He brings Boom into this, like, auditorium, but it's more like a gym because there's no seats. Like, it's just a standing area only stage. And
I did make a note when they're talking in the car, and he's like, do you love me? And Boom says, I love you. And he answers, that means you'll do anything I ask, which is insane.
You're like, that's not how that works.
Definition of love, my friend.
But apparently anything I ask is just staying in the gym.
Yeah, which he
for now
does do.
Well, he does for a minute, but then he's like, I gotta get out of here. And he tries to leave.
Yeah, no, this is the second most pitiful thing that's ever happened to him.
And here's the thing. The first chunk, I'm gonna say this right now. He goes to the door and there's someone on like the filming crew there because they're filming the festival. And he's like, he tries to leave and the guy is like, you can't leave. We're filming. If you open the door, we'll get the outside noise. You're not allowed to leave. And he's like, what? And the guy's like, we made an announcement. Like, you can't leave until the first part is over. I was like, there's absolutely no circumstance where you would not allow someone to leave a venue, ever.
No.
As someone who works in, like, film and television, that is not a thing.
Like, especially if the guy comes running up to you saying, like, quickly, he might notice me. Like, you know there's something going on here.
Look, I don't know about in, like, Korea if, like, the crowds are extra quiet, but if there's a crowd in there, it doesn't matter if you open the goddamn door if the microphones are on the stage. You can let someone out.
Absolutely have to just
letting people in, I can understand not letting people in.
This guy's just being an asshole.
Yeah, because, like, if you just let people go in and out, like, that would, like, mess it up. But, like, letting some people out, that's fine. It's also a hazard. It's not a fire hazard because if there was a fire, you'd have to leave anyway. But it's a hazard.
Because of stuff like this.
Yeah, because of this.
Also, this fucking shot, he starts arguing with the dude, like, you have to let me out, like, there's something serious happening, and the guy's like, it's not that serious, you just have to stay in here for 10 minutes. But then Boom stops arguing with him because he thinks people are staring at him, which I just found so profoundly sad.
Well, the people staring at him looks like the girls at the party staring at you meme.
Yeah, it literally does. It's so depressing. No one gives a shit what he's doing, but he's, like, convinced that people are judging him.
Yeah, and he tries to tell people, and what goes down is exactly what I thought was going to go down, where, like, if he tried to tell people at this venue, like, hey, I've been, like, kidnapped and imprisoned, no one's gonna believe him. They're just gonna think he's crazy.
No, they just think he's crazy because he's at a fucking concert. Like, okay, you've been kidnapped at a concert.
It's like, what are you talking about, man?
Unbelievably, yes! Yeah, Sungwoo sings. There's another profoundly sad moment where he's like in the crowd, where listening to Sungwoo sing this love song, and he's like, I'm just so confused.
He's like, I hate him, but
I hate him so much, but I'm just so confused.
Also, I made a note that Songwoo and Ji-yoon's outfits do not fucking match. They could have coordinated.
Close. She's in pink. She looks all cutesy. He's in a red suit.
He's in a red suit with like a black turtleneck, and she's in like a mini skirt, pink crop top that only covers her boobs, tights with a what the hell are those things called? The little like wedding band around her thigh.
A garter.
Like, a garter. I'm like, what are you wearing?
They could not look more like they just met right now.
Chapter 17. She fucks up.
Chapter 16. Isn't it
chapter 16. Sorry. I scrolled too far on my notes. Chapter 16. Yeah, she gets nervous because she's got a crush.
She's got a big crush on Songwoo, and she thinks about it for like a long time.
Yeah, and that's most of the chapter. She's like, blobbity bloopity, I like this guy. I'm thinking too hard about my feelings. Now I'm fucking up. He covers for her. The song goes fine.
And then she's outside afterward, like, where the fuck did he go? Like, why isn't he out here? It's because he's having an argument with Boom in the public bathroom stall.
In the gross, shitty public bathroom, he's arguing with Boom, and then he just, Boom, like...
Okay,
Boom
this is
tells
insane.
This is insane.
So Boom is crying, presumably still because he's been kidnapped and he's developing Stockholm Syndrome and he's just very confused and upset. But Songwoo gets into the bathroom stall and is like, why are you crying? I feel bad. And Boom is like, I just want to suck you off so bad.
Yeah. What he says, basically, is I wanted to fondle you with my mouth while you were on stage. And I was like, no one's ever said that in the history of the English language.
Extremely bizarre translation. Completely off. And then even Songwoo is like, you're insane. He's like, what the fuck? Damn.
Also, lightsaber penis makes a return.
Oh yeah, no, because he's like, I just want to suck you up so bad, and Songwoo's like, I ain't have anywhere else to be sure. He's like tapping his forehead with it.
It's like, look up, man.
He hits him in the face with it. He's just slurping away in the bathroom for a little bit. Songwoo's like, wow, you suck.
But also, Songwoo says, why don't you suck this like your life depends on it? I was like, well, it kind of does.
I was like, is that a threat?
Also, Songwoo's dick doesn't have like any like head to it.
No, it's like just a weird...
I'm like, so is he's got to be like uncut, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, most people in Korea are.
Are they?
Yeah, no, it's very rare to be circumcised there. So I'd be surprised if he was.
I think he should be, because he's fucking crazy.
He did it himself.
Exactly, that's why he should be.
Someone's got like his leg burst up on the trash can and everything. They're going at it. Then he answers the phone.
Yeah, he answers the phone mid-blowjob. And then he decides, you know what? Your mouth sucks. I'm just going to use my hand. I was like, in what world?
Off. Whatever.
He doesn't even seem like satisfied or anything. He doesn't show his face or whatever. He's just like, ah.
He's like, whatever, that's done. So they go to a restaurant.
Right.
And, okay, hilarious to me that Songwoo wants to introduce his friends to the saddest man you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, you want to show this guy off in front of people.
They all immediately think Boom is a freak, and I was like, well, they're right.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I feel like that gets lost a little bit in here, that Boom is also a freak. Like,
yeah.
There's also something really wrong with him. It's just so weird. Like, he walks in and he's like, hey guys, this is my friend that I was talking about. And Boom is like, he's like huffing and puffing on his two broken legs. Like, oh, just the most pathetic motherfucker you can imagine.
So they're all kind of, I'm on to chapter 17 now.
Yes.
They're all kind of bullying him a little bit. Like,
they're just kind of teasing him.
Lighthearted teasing. But he, like, you know, he's already about to crack, so like.
Yeah, so no, for him, this is intense. Okay, I want to shout out this guy. So Jian, he sits down and she's like, oh, you guys met in the army. You look like you would have gotten an exception, because, you know, he's fucking emaciated.
Yeah.
He's skeletal, and he's like, oh, no, they didn't. And then this fucking MVP sitting on the other side of Boom is like, hey, it's hard to get exceptions, okay? And then he's like, I'm just gonna draft dodge. I was like, I love this guy. He rocks. Like, someone's like, got one cool friend.
Fat. And then tear my ACL so I won't have to do it.
I was like, damn, dude, go for it.
But like, Boom drinks so much water because he's super anxious and then he has to pee.
Yes.
And I was like, oh no, Is he gonna pee again? Like on the seat?
Yeah, no, I really, like, Sungwoo thinks about it for a minute. He's like, maybe I'll just let him piss himself. Like, you can see it, because Boom is like, I have to use the bathroom. And he just kind of looks at him for a second.
But the MVP becomes the biggest dick because he doesn't stand up to let Boom out.
No, and I don't understand why you wouldn't. Boom is like, I need to use the bathroom, and the guy won't, like, let him out of the booth. Like, what?
Yeah.
What, huh? For
Boom,
what reason?
granted, is tiny enough he could slip under the table if he wanted to, but like...
But he doesn't. He tries to croll over that guy, and then he falls on him like an absolute hoe. I was like, no, I'm with Sungwoo on this one. That was weird. Why'd he do that? The guy won't let him out, so Boone tries to climb over him, and then he ends up, like, spread-legged on the guy's lap.
Yeah.
Even the guy's
it's like
dude.
Granted, your legs do hurt, but like you fell like in the most hoe position.
You really did, and he's got like his back arched and everything.
Yeah. Songwoo goes to the bathroom, and he's like,
"You're such a whore.
You a hoe." And then he's like, "Well, you know, just deal with the nitpicking on you, and like the teasing. Just wait a little bit longer because you know that's gonna change." I was like, "Do you promise? Are you gonna kill them or something? Like group kill? What are you gonna do?"
Yeah, like what's going on here?
What are you doing, Songwoo? Are you planning something?
And then he goes out to smoke, so Boom is with his friends alone for a little bit, and they're all, like, really mean and weird. I was like, how does he find these people?
There's one panel in specific where he says, like, I have to take Boom home, I forced him to come here, that one. Where Jiyoon is in red, and Boom is in black, and then Songwoo is wearing red over black.
Symbolism.
It's symbolism. I don't know what it means.
I like how too.
But...
he's like, I have to drive him home, and Jiyoon's like, what? It's not like he doesn't have legs. He does. I don't know if you noticed. His legs are both broken. Also, okay, they get in the door, and fucking this dragon throw immediately is fucking brutal. Like Songwoo grabs him, and like yanks him across the floor and yeets him into a closet. Fucking brutal.
And he says, we can't have the star of tonight's anniversary miss this. I was like, what anniversary? What are you talking about? How long has he been there?
I know, has he been there for a whole fucking year now? Has this been an entire fucking year?
It can't have been a year. It has to be like either Songwoo knew about some sort of something earlier that's been a year, or it's like an anniversary of when they were in the army, or like it's only like a month. You know, like
I was like a year. Yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, anniversary. And I feel like when he closes the door and you get that close up of Boom's face, he's also like, anniversary.
Yeah, he's like, what are you talking about?
He's like, wait, what? He calls Jiyoon to come meet him and tells her not to tell anybody where she's going, which I feel like no girl would ever do.
No,
but
she leaves and she goes outside, and like every single sign in this fucking alley, or not alley, but on the street is like the DVD logo.
everywhere is a fucking DVD room.
I'm like, what are you doing about it? Why are there so many DVD stores?
He changed to go pick her up too. He came back, like a sweatshirt, in a shady sweatshirt, and a varsity jacket to come get her. I don't know why he changed. Boom is like out there just trying to fall asleep in the closet.
Yeah.
The Songwoo takes her home to bang her in front of the closet where he threw Boom a minute ago.
Yeah, he's banging her in front of Boom.
I have a note that says women taking L's.
Yeah. And that's the end of that chapter.
That's chapter 17. We're gaining on the end now, buddy.
Yeah.
Keep that energy. It starts to get way more bananas here.
Yeah, so they're having sex, and he's like sucking on her boob, and is like,
Yeah, no. And he seems like the guy that would suck on a titty, because, like, of course he is.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's like milk is coming out. What?
Yeah, that's where you draw the line.
He's literally, like, role-playing a baby. It's really strange. And she's like, stop it. Like...
He's sucking on the titty, and then he looks up, and you can see Boom peeking out of the closet, and it's like, is the Grudge in the closet? Like,
he looks so scary. So then he's like, I'll go slam her against the closet. Boom, and Songwoo are holding hands through the closet door.
Right.
Because Boom kind of reaches out to grab his hand. Like, he kind of creeps over to grab his hand. And and Songwoo, I think, gets mad at him. It's not clear. He squeezes his hand really hard, and it hurts. And then Boom, like, retaliates and bites his hand really hard.
power move. He bites down on his finger.
Finally, he strikes back.
And Songwoo makes like an ugh noise, and for some reason Ji-yoon thought that was his like finishing noise.
She's like, damn, are you done? And he's like, no. So then they're mid-fuck. He hasn't dropped a nut yet. And then he's like, hey.
Right, and he also hasn't taken off his boxers.
No, he just pulled him down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, take off your boxers, man.
Come on. If a guy pulled that on me, I would lose it. So then he's like, hey, why were you being so mean to Boom? And she's like, we're fucking right now. And he just keeps pushing her. Like, at first, she's kind of polite about it. She's like, oh, well, I was just frustrated because, you know, he made you late and made you leave early. And then she's like, well, I was embarrassed because he saw me fuck up while I was singing. And he's like, no, really? And she's like, I don't know, he's a fucking weirdo. Like, what do you want me to say?
And then he's like, exactly that, because he's behind you.
He's like, ha ha ha. Tricked ya. Pranked.
And I don't think Boom could have cared less. Like,
no, I don't think he gives a shit what this girl thinks about him.
No.
She's like, I don't know, he's weird, and he has a limp, and he smells bad. And Songwoo's like, gotcha. And he's super weird about it. Like, he's completely straight-faced, and he's like, wow, you said that right in front of him.
She's like, what are you talking about?
His feelings are gonna be so hurt.
And he opens the door, and it has a few panels where, like, you see all three of them. You see Boom, like, shocked, and then you see Ji-yoon, like, yelling, and then you see Boom, like, shocked, and then it cuts back to Songwoo, and he's like, kya?
Like, what? He's off his shits now. Like, he's, like, completely lost the plot. You know what? Good for him. He seems happy.
He's still got a boner.
Yeah, he does. She kicks him off and he's like still super hard. Somehow his door is locked so that she can't open it from the inside.
Yeah, and she was gonna run into the street naked.
Honestly, I would too, at this point. No, he's giving off such serial killer vibes at this point. If a guy told me to come follow him someplace without telling anyone where I was, specifically, and then he started acting like this, I'd be like, no, I'm dead. Like, I have to go. Would have done the same thing, girl. Would have done the same thing.
So he gets her down the stairs into the basement.
Yes.
And he's trying to chain her up.
It's really funny. He has like her head under his arm. He keeps trying to chain her up. She gets like a really good punch in.
Yeah.
On his eyeball.
She punches his eye so hard it turns red later.
And you know what? Good for her. Once again, we stand.
She runs up the stairs, but then he throws a wrench at her.
So she doesn't make it.
Yeah,
he
she gets
walks
tied up.
Boom down the stairs, and he looks like he's got a high fever or something. He just does not look well.
We get the iconic, like, panel that you've sent me many times. It's like him, like, holding out his hand to Boom.
It is iconic. Like, just naked in the basement stairs. It's a classic. It's a classic. He also strips Boom when he gets him downstairs.
Yeah, he gets him down, he strips him.
She's like, I'll do anything if you'll let me go home. And he's like, fuck Boom. And she's like, why? I will.
But then she's like, yeah, and there's this great panel where Song was like, really?
Really? Why would you? Like, he hasn't been fucking Boom for apparently a year.
Yeah, wait, has he fucked him yet?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, because he had a line in one of the chapters where he's like, we still have so many firsts to do or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he strips Boom, and like
Boom at this point just lives with it. Boom is like, whatever.
Yeah.
This might as well happen.
There's a few panels where like Boom's chin bandages disappear.
Yeah, you're right.
But like, whatever. They're probably just reusing panels from that like scene when the other guy was down there.
Yeah, whatever.
Which is like, fine, whatever. Or no, wasn't his chin all fucked up then too? His chin was fucked up. I don't know. Maybe it was from the first scene or whatever. But I have this one note that's like, you made fun of this dude in a horrible way. Now you got to be nice to him. Like, that's what it is on like the surface level of like, you made fun of this dude. Now I'm going to make you fuck him. So I was like, okay, sure. Like your logic kind of makes sense.
I guess I could see your logic.
One, you've orchestrated it to be this way. And two, you've somehow created a double-sided rape situation.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up. And then she's like, I'll do it, I'll fuck him to live. And then he's like, you're gross. Like, he doesn't even have him do it. He's like, nasty.
He's like, gross. I'm going to cut you up in little pieces.
You're going to be so ugly when I cut you up in little pieces.
And doesn't she say, she's like, I'm going to kill you. And she's like, whether you lock me up or kill me, I'm going to kill you. It's like, I don't think you will be.
No, it's a powerful threat. I love you, babe.
Yeah.
This girl actually rules.
Songwoo decides that Boom has to kill Jiyoon because for reasons.
Yes, I think his concept at this point, I think, is like he wants to date Boom, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
But his thinking is I can't do this unless he's also a murderer.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, please explain to me how Boom killing someone will make it possible for the two of you to be together until death. Like, he's like, this is how we can be together forever.
Absolutely. One weird trick to being together forever. And then he's like, you're gonna be so happy. No, it's fucked up.
And then we get chapter 19.
Chapter 19, so this is the grand finale of the first part of Killing Stalking.
Yeah, of season 1. And it's,
oh boy.
Starts with Jiyoon yelling at him.
Understandably.
Yeah, and she's like begging, but then she decides to start insulting him.
I know, I was like, she could have lived if she kept her cool. She starts off, she's kind of getting to him.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I didn't really mean it, like, I'm just really immature, like, please let me go. And then he doesn't talk, and she's like, you know what, fuck you, actually.
Yeah. And like, Boom has like a dramatic flashback to like his high school years.
Yes.
And I didn't take a whole lot of notes on the actual flashbacks. I just said it would also fit into that short film, probably. Because it's him in high school and he's a loner, obviously. But there's this other girl who's kind of a loner, but she has friends, but she just likes being alone. And then they kind of connect because she also was abused and like raped by a family member.
Yeah, so they have this in common.
But then Boom gets weird.
And then he gets like too attached to her and really weird about it, so she doesn't want to hang out with him anymore. And then he gets mean because she doesn't want to hang out with him anymore, and he starts being creepy and stalking her. Yeah,
and he claims that she's his girlfriend, and he like starts taking her things, which is where we find out backstory for both the nail polish and the bra that he has in his apartment now. Like fucking 10 years later, he still has this like bra and nail polish from her. Like he stole it from her and kept it.
Here's what I will say about all of this. This is very sad. Like clearly this is an extremely isolated person that like feels very abandoned by other people. I think in the reaction to this comic, there's, people understandably feel very bad for Boom. I will go ahead and say, reading this flashback, my family has a history with stalkers. Mm-hmm. It's really a pretty serious, traumatic thing to do to somebody. Like, it required therapy.
Yeah.
And I think, like, this particular flashback, like, reading this is probably the least sympathy I have ever had for this character.
It starts out kind of trying to frame it as, like, oh, he's sad, like this girl who's also sad. But then he's so, like, icky and gross.
No, it's a really fucked up thing to do to somebody. It's a really threatening thing to do to somebody, to follow them like that, to harass them the way that he's harassing this girl. Like, this is a very serious crime. Like, that you have committed against this girl.
She didn't even, like, reject him at first. You know what I mean? Like, he started being creepy while they were still on good terms.
Yeah. No, it was not a reaction to her rejecting him. He gets super clingy and weird while they're friends, and then she distances herself, and he gets even weirder.
Either way, it's not excusable. But, like, it's still it makes it even worse that, like...
No, I don't know how this is intended to be read. I don't know if this flashback is intended to garner sympathy for him, or if it's intended to remind you, like, this is not a good person either. But this is a really shitty thing to do to someone.
I don't think
you cannot treat people like this. Like,
I don't think it's supposed to get him sympathy. I think it's more like just a justification for his current action, and not a good justification, just a story.
It's just an explanation, of why he's behaving this way.
Yeah.
It's
not like feel bad for him, or like it's just to be like, it's just to so you don't go from him being like, I can't kill this lady, to stabby stab.
Yeah. So you understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that bit stood out to me very strongly, because I had a very strong negative reaction to that entire flashback.
Like,
I was like, man, I hate this shit. Men are pigs, dude.
Yeah, he also looks peak goob in this flashback.
He looks super gooby.
But he has like a prime line where it's when they're having their like big fallout where she's like, stop spreading rumors about me being your girlfriend. And he's like, why did you take off your shirt in front of me then? Aren't you interested? It's like she was showing you the bruises all over her body. Like,
and she's literally like, what is wrong with you? She's like, I was talking to you about my abusive dad, you fucking weirdo.
Granted, in that one little section, she did like pull up his shirt without asking him. But like...
No, that was quite rude. Admittedly, quite rude.
Like, girl.
Yeah, no, he's not terribly sympathetic in this situation.
Especially when he yells to the entire class about her dad raping her.
Oh my god, he's like, will you not talk to me because I know about your dad raping you in front of everybody? And she's like, what the fuck?
There's a moment, I forget where it is in this flashback, but like he's talking to her. Oh, it's towards the end when she's like really, really mad at him. And he's looking at her boobs. And he says out loud as he's staring at her boobs, as she's like yelling at him for like betraying her trust. He goes, boing, boing.
I'd kill him. I would kill him right there.
Yeah.
Right there and then.
And as someone with large boobs, when she's like, I wonder if those guys actually like you, or he's like, I wonder if those guys actually like you, or if they just like the way they bounce. I was like, 9 times out of 10, it's just the bouncing. They just like the bounce. It's true. Sorry, girl, but it's true. Once they get past like a C cup, like you do notice.
From Yoon Boom.
Here's my relatable moment of the chapter. It's not as traumatizing, but once you pass like C cup, you do notice that most people, not even just guys, but mostly guys, just stare at your boobs when they're talking to you. And sometimes not even in a sexual way. I have gay friends who stare at my boobs when they talk to me as well. And I'm like, what are you doing?
They are kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
They're a little fascinating. They're fun. I mean, the bounce is fun. The bounce is a good time.
So you kind of just get used to it and you kind of get used to knowing when it's malicious.
Yeah.
You know? So, and those circumstances are when it's at work. You never tolerate that.
Yeah, no, that's malicious. I would say this situation also malicious.
Also malicious, especially since he said boing boing out loud.
Yeah, no, not fucking with that. Not fucking with that.
Also, she's definitely bigger than a C cup.
Oh yeah, no, her boobs are fucking huge.
She's like a D at least.
They're ginormous.
So yeah, he has this like traumatic flashback because Ji-yoon said like similar things to that girl. Like that girl also told him to like fuck off, and now Ji-yoon's like, fuck off, die.
Both of them are right.
Yeah. And he's just gonna murder now. I was like,
yeah, now and then he freaks. Like he has.
You've activated his trap card.
Yeah, literally. You did like a full on like a Manchurian candidate like secret code that makes him a murderer.
Yeah. And then he stabs her right in the titty. Like not even like in the chest.
He stabs her like 12 times in the titty.
And it wasn't even the right. Like it wasn't on her heart. It was on the incorrect side.
Yeah, no. He gets her right in the tit, and she's like, what the fuck?
He stabs her a bunch. Song-woo's happy about it. And when he's finished, he's, having a crisis a little bit. He's like curled in on himself.
He has kind of a psychotic break, because he just stabbed this girl like 12 times.
Song-woo's like, good job, awesome.
This is way too much force, too, for you to pass this off as like a duress offense. For the record. You're fucked. If this body is connected to you. But whatever.
There's a great ass shot.
There's so many ass shots at this point. I think it may have been 20 where I made that note, but like this one, tons of ass shots.
Yeah. Song-woo asks him how it was. He's like, you can tell me how it was. And the first thing he says is her blood went phew.
Phew. He's also drooling and snotting everywhere.
Oh yeah, it was so gross.
He's gross.
It was disgusting. And then he says, he's like, I didn't feel anything at all, like about killing her. And I was like, Song-woo's not gonna like that. You're supposed to get a boner when you kill someone.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right.
You're supposed to feel horny, boom. But oh well.
Even when he first starts talking and he's like, if she was alive and I made her dead a minute ago, she was alive and we were in here in the caveman. Like,
we're out here. What I want to know is where's the caveman?
And it cuts to Sung-woo and he looks bored even then. Like he's like, okay.
Yeah. It really is she's alive and now she's dead and we're in here and she's out there and
what I want to know is I don't feel anything.
I don't feel anything at all. And then the chapter ends. I was like, oh no, you're gonna get disciplined.
Yep, no. Anyway, that's
season 1.
11 through 19. That's season 1 of Killing Stalking.
Yes.
Kungi said, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the next phase.
Yeah.
The next phase.
Oh, God. I'm excited for the next one. You said I should read chapter 20, and I didn't. And I'm like, I want to read it.
Oh, it is fun. It is fun.
I'll hold back, though.
I like how in this epilogue note that the author, I don't know the gender of this author.
Yeah.
I assume it's probably a woman, because most BL authors are. Tragic, but I have no idea. And I don't think anyone knows. I think it's an anonymous person. But I like in this note that they're like, I was gonna start at the beginning of March, but I had a bad feeling that if I did, I'd go on hiatus at some point. What? So then they're like, so I just postponed the whole thing. Like,
oh, God.
What a bizarre thing to do. Like, no wonder your characters are all so fucking weird.
But it's been good so far, or I guess entertaining. It's been entertaining so far.
I quite enjoy this comic, actually. Like,
yeah.
I feel bad that, like, of the things we've posted, you know, the only ones where I've been like, yeah, I unironically enjoy this have been Inuyasha and Killing Stalking. Like, I promise I have good taste. It's just
we don't watch good things, though.
No, I actually kind of really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
It's really a good time.
We don't consume good content unless it's, like, also garbage.
Yes, exactly. No, and this one's good time garbage.
Are you telling me you didn't like Stand My Hero's Piece of Truth?
Listen, dude. That was a fucking war crime. That was a federal crime. And a crime against the United Nations.
Bringing that author in front of the UN.
I really am. I am trying them.
But yeah, anyway, what's our discussion question for this week?
We forgot a good discussion question. Okay. Our discussion question.
I should have written it down.
For this section of Killing Stalking is, what item would you have stolen from Boom's apartment? Our discussion question is really like, what was that sex toy?
Yeah. What was that? That's more just a question and answer. What is that thing?
If Sangwoo were coming to clean up your room, what embarrassing object would he bring with him from it?
I would love to know.
I would really love to
know. That, and if you were in Jiyoon's position, could you finish if you knew Boom was in the closet?
Yes.
Both metaphorically and literally in the closet.
He is out, baby. Don't you say that about my boy.
I don't want to ask any real discussion questions like the morality of blah blah blah. I just want to know, could you get off if you knew the creepy little man was in the closet?
Would you have freaked? Would you have run, or would you have just kept going?
Would you have grabbed your clothes?
Would you have grabbed your clothes to run away?
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good questions here. This is awesome.
I'd love to know.
I'd love to know.
All right. We'll see you next week.
See you next time. We're Killing Stalking Book Club.